Help me hit 7,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. I never thought a single moment could split my life cleanly into before and after. But that's exactly what happened on a quiet Thursday evening, standing in the lobby of a restaurant where my wife and I had planned to celebrate our 7th anniversary. 7 years. 7 years of routines, inside jokes, silent comforts, and shared futures. All of it felt steady, imperfect but steady. And then, in 1 second, it wasn't. My name is Caleb. I'm 38, an engineer who still laughs at the same corny jokes my younger brother Rowan sends me, even when I'm pretending I'm too mature for them. My wife's name is Marin. 36. Soft-spoken, clever. The sort of woman who remembers everyone's coffee orders but forgets her own car keys twice a week. We met in a bookstore, bonded over an abandoned cup of cold coffee, and built a life that felt warm and lived in. Or at least I thought we did. That day had started fine, too fine in hindsight. Marin was unusually quiet in the morning, but she blamed it on a headache. At work, I messaged her about our dinner plans, and she responded with a simple heart emoji. Short but affectionate. I didn't think twice about it. I got to the restaurant 10 minutes early. She walked in 3 minutes after me, looking a little flushed, like she'd rushed. Right behind her, stepping in with the confidence of a man who thought the world stretched out to accommodate him, was Jonah, her boss. I'd never met him in person before. I knew he was one of those always networking types, the kind of man who treated every interaction like a stage. I assumed he was there by coincidence. I even raised a hand politely, but he didn't greet me. He didn't even look at me. Instead, he stepped closer to Marin, too close, and said, with a laugh that made my stomach turn, "Since you're already out, how about you come have a drink with me after dinner? Just you and me. You deserve a night away from all this." Then he gestured toward me like I was a coat rack someone had forgotten to move. I remember blinking. I remember my brain scrambling to make sense of it, searching for an explanation, a joke, anything. My wife froze. Marin didn't laugh, didn't pull away, didn't correct him. She just looked at him with this expression I'd never seen on her face. Something between embarrassment and hesitation. A hesitation that hit me harder than the words themselves. "Jonah," she whispered. "Not here. Not, that's inappropriate. Not, I'm married. Not, don't talk to my husband like that. Just, not here." My ears rang. 7 years of marriage. 7 years of choosing each other through the small, unglamorous days. And in that single second, I saw something break. Not loud, not messy, but quietly, like a thin thread snapping after holding too much weight for too long. I stepped forward, trying to stay level-headed. "Is this some kind of joke?" I asked, looking at both of them. Jonah smirked. "Relax, man. It's harmless. We're just having fun." The word was a rusted hook dragging through my chest. Marin finally spoke. "Caleb, please don't make a scene." A scene? The man had just asked my wife out. In front of me, and her biggest concern was avoiding embarrassment? I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. Something inside me just went still, like a switch had flipped and all the noise drained out. I looked directly at her. "Marin, do you want to go with him?" Her eyes widened, and for a split second, just one, there was a flicker of confusion. Then guilt. Then fear. She didn't say no. She didn't say yes either. She just stood there, silent, pinned in place by her own uncertainty. And silence, in that moment, was the loudest answer she could have given. I walked past both of them and stepped outside. The evening air felt colder than it should have. My hands were trembling, not with anger, but with something deeper, realization. I'd been building a home with someone whose heart had quietly drifted somewhere else, and she hadn't known how to tell me. Or maybe she did, and she simply chose not to. Maybe it was easier to let life glide forward until it collapsed on its own. I leaned against a stone pillar, trying to breathe, trying to make sense of how quickly certainty can dissolve. Behind me, I heard the muffled sound of the restaurant door opening. Footsteps. Then Marin's voice, soft, careful, unsure. "Caleb? Can we talk?" I turned, not trusting myself to speak yet. And she looked so small in that moment. Not fragile, just unsteady, like someone standing at the edge of a truth they didn't want to face. I didn't know he was going to say that, she whispered. I swear. But you didn't shut it down, I replied quietly. She flinched. I just froze. He jokes like that sometimes. It doesn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything. 7 years of vows, promises, and shared life. And she couldn't defend us in one simple moment. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Rowan. Happy anniversary. Big bro hope tonight's special. I stared at the screen and felt something inside me shift again. Not crack, settle. Like the truth was finally choosing a place to land. Caleb, she whispered again. Please say something. But I wasn't sure what kind of man I was supposed to be in that moment. The hurt husband, the angry one, the forgiving one, the silent one. All I felt was the weight of something ending before either of us had the courage to admit it. Did you want him to ask you out, Marin? I finally asked. Her lips parted. She didn't answer. Her silence was becoming a pattern I couldn't ignore. She stood there, her hands twisting together, her eyes darting between the pavement and my face. The street lamps cast a soft glow over her, but nothing could soften the truth hanging between us. Caleb, she whispered. I don't want him. I don't. It's just that. Things at work have been complicated. Complicated how? My voice stayed calm, almost too calm. Surprised even me. She exhaled, shaky and uneven. He compliments me a lot. Says I'm good at what I do. Appreciated. Noticed. And I guess I let it feel nice. It landed like a slow, dull blow. Did you tell him you were married? I asked. She swallowed. He knows. So he did that anyway. She nodded. And you let him. Her shoulders sank. She didn't argue, didn't protest, didn't lie. She simply folded inward under the truth she couldn't escape. 7 years of marriage, and the moment that should have been easiest, defending us, had become the moment she froze. I'm sorry, she said softly. I've been feeling distant from everything lately. From work. From life. From us. I didn't expect him to say that, but I should have reacted differently. I know that. I closed my eyes for a moment, because I knew that feeling, distance. I'd felt her pulling away for months in small, almost invisible ways. Shorter conversations, longer silences, fewer hugs, no spontaneous smiles. Marriage doesn't explode overnight. It erodes while you're busy trying to stay steady. I'm not mad, I finally said. I'm just tired. Her face crumpled at that. Not from guilt, but from recognition. Because she was tired too, and neither of us had said it out loud until now. We ended up sitting on a bench outside the restaurant. People walked past us, laughing, chatting, celebrating, completely unaware that one of the simplest human stories was unfolding right beside them. A couple trying to understand when their paths had quietly shifted away from each other. After a long moment, she said, I didn't come here to hurt you. I came here hoping we'd feel close again. The fact that you had to hope, I replied, says a lot. She wiped at her eyes. I should have shut him down. Immediately. I know. I messed up. I looked at her, the woman I'd planned a life with. Her expression was raw, full of fear and remorse, but also confusion. Not about what had happened, but about why she hadn't reacted differently. Do you have feelings for him? I asked quietly. She shook her head. Too fast. Too reflexively. Do you enjoy the attention? I pressed. Her lips trembled. It feels good to be noticed. To feel wanted. The honesty was worse than any lie could have been. Because you can't fight a stranger. You can't out-argue a compliment. You can't compete with novelty. You can only stand there and watch someone choose the feeling they're missing, even if the source is wrong. I leaned back, staring up at the night sky. So where does that leave us? She sucked in a shaky breath. I want to fix things. I do. I just don't know how. That admission hit harder than anything Jonah had said. Because marriage isn't ruined by one mistake. It's undone by the quiet admission that someone doesn't know how to love you anymore. We sat in silence again. A long, Heavy silence that didn't break us, but revealed the break had already happened. Eventually, she said, "Caleb, please don't give up on us." I turned to her, slower than I meant to. "I'm not giving up. I'm just realizing that we're standing in very different places, pretending we're still side by side." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I'm so sorry." "I know," I said gently, "and I believe you, but apologies don't erase reality." She reached for my hand, hesitated, then pulled back. That tiny gesture said everything, her instinct to reach, her fear to follow through. She was torn between guilt, comfort, and the truth neither of us wanted to name. I continued, "We need space. Real space. Not a fight, not an ultimatum. Just honesty. You need to figure out if you want this marriage because you're loyal to the life we built, or because you truly love me. And I need to understand whether I'm holding on because I'm afraid of losing you, or because we still have something worth saving." Her voice cracked. "What if I lose you during that space?" I exhaled softly. "Then maybe that tells us something too." She broke then. Not loudly, not dramatically, but in a quiet unraveling of someone who had been balancing too many versions of herself for too long. I didn't hold her. I didn't push her away. I simply let her feel what she needed to feel. When she finally looked at me, her eyes were red and honest. "I don't want him, Caleb. I want us. I'm just lost. And I can't be the map," I replied. "Not for something you need to navigate alone." We walked to the parking lot without touching. Not out of anger, but because touch felt too intimate for a moment built on truth instead of comfort. Before she got into her car, she turned to me. "Will you come home tonight?" "I will," I said. "But things can't go back to the way they were." She nodded slowly, painfully. "I know." As she drove away, I stood there in the fading glow of her tail lights, realizing something people rarely admit about relationships. Sometimes the moment that breaks you is the same moment that frees you. 7 years of marriage hadn't vanished in 1 second. The truth had simply finally caught up. And for the first time in months, I felt something I hadn't expected. Clarity. Not anger. Not revenge. Just clarity. The kind that comes when you finally stop pretending everything is fine and start accepting that love isn't always lost in betrayal. Sometimes it's lost in hesitation.